It begins, as these things often do, with an act of supreme arrogance. Lex Luthor is pacing the penthouse floor of LexCorp Tower, fingers steepled, scanning data projected across a wall of glass. He has, by most measures, everything. Money, power, nearly every city on speed dial. But something isn't sitting right. There are rumors, odd ones. Reports of a masked mercenary causing chaos at Metropolis nightclubs, flipping off the doorman, then beating up a mugger, or possibly the mugger's dog. The target, Deadpool. Real name classified, origin questionable, moral compass absent. For Lex, chaos isn't just annoying, it's an affront. He's built his empire on the premise that logic prevails, that plans can be executed, and that Superman can be outwitted eventually. Deadpool, meanwhile, is living proof that random chance is alive and kicking and. Laughing loudly, Phase 1. Elimination. Not of Deadpool, but of the variable he represents. Lex dispatches his best security detail. Ex-military earpieces, shiny boots. They corner Deadpool in a pancake house, which, as it turns out, was probably their first mistake. Deadpool drops his knife and fork, stands atop the table, and addresses Lex directly because, as we may have suspected, cameras are everywhere. "Lexi, buddy, I read your scripts," he shouts, waving a plate. Spoilers, no one wins in the end. Within 30 seconds, there are pancakes everywhere. Lex's men, previously highly trained, are covered in syrup and regret. Deadpool leaves through the kitchen, scarf tied commando style around his head. Dragging 2 bottles of maple syrup and singing Bon Jovi, the news runs with the headline, "Masked Menace Devastates Breakfast." For Lex, this is unacceptable. He upgrades. Next time, robots not the polite kind. Dozen swarm a parking garage, targeting the signature red suit. Deadpool, hungry for spectacle, doesn't disappoint. He produces a katana from somewhere anatomically improbable, slices through the first wave, and launches into a one-liner marathon for the ages. Snacks are had, selfies taken. The robots are reduced to what local children later describe as really expensive tinfoil. It's around this time that Lex realizes something uncomfortable. Fighting Deadpool isn't a strategic operation. Improv comedy with casualties. Begins to worry that Deadpool is actually enjoying himself, which, to Lex, is more infuriating than genuine defeat. So Lex shifts tactics. He invites Deadpool to LexCorp Tower under the classic pretense of negotiation. Deadpool arrives by crashing through a third-story window, knocking over a priceless sculpture, and muttering, "Oops, wrong floor." "Let's talk," Lex says, ice in every syllable. "You're unpredictable, but even chaos can be managed." Deadpool slouches into a leather chair, flips through a business magazine upside down, and sings the Jeopardy tune. Lex lays out the offer. Power, money, all the chimichangas in Metropolis. Deadpool only has to leave town, quietly. Deadpool pauses. There is a long, worrying silence. "Then how much for the sculpture?" Lex blinks. Negotiations, such as they are, break down shortly afterward. Humiliation is not something Lex Luthor tolerates. If brute force, bribery, and reason all fail, there's one thing left: complete intellectual domination. He engineers a trap riddled with logic puzzles, lasers, and an AI that only speaks Latin. There are 0 weaknesses. Superman himself would struggle. Deadpool arrives late, burger in hand, and walks directly into the maze. Lex watches from his monitoring station, waiting for the inevitable. 47 minutes later, Deadpool emerges from the wrong wall, having bypassed the entire maze by crawling through a ventilation shaft labeled "Do Not Enter Seriously" plot device. He is, somehow, carrying the AI, which is now mumbling pie recipes in Pig Latin. Lex stares. The staff stares. The AI mutters something about rhubarb. The conclusion, as always, is bitter for Lex. He is a master of control. Deadpool is a master of chaos. Lex learns that not every equation balances. Sometimes the numbers just up and run out of the building, cackling, wearing a red mask. Lex Luthor retreats to his office, quietly rescinding the citywide ban on breakfast foods. For now, at least, Deadpool wins not out of brilliance or strength, but out of sheer narrative inevitability. Some battles aren't just unwinnable. Some were never meant to be fought. In the heart of Metropolis, Deadpool celebrates with a stack of pancakes tall enough to see into Gotham. For Lex Luthor, the question remains, how do you defeat an opponent who never learns the rules or even cares to read them? The answer, as he now knows, you don't. You just hope he gets bored and moves on.